Good afternoon. This is Kathleen Drew, Chair of the Energy Facility Site Evaluation Council, and I'm calling to order our meeting, our monthly meeting for May 2021. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Department of Commerce.
Kate Kelly, present.
Department of Ecology. Department of Fish and Wildlife.
He's excused.
Department of Natural Resources.
Lenny Young, present.
Utilities and Transportation Commission.
Stacy Brewster, present.
Local Government and Optional State Agencies, the Goose Prairie Project for WashDOT.
Bill Sorial, present.
For the Horse Heaven Project, Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, Derek Sanderson, present.
For Benton County.
Ed Roast, present.
For the Assistant Attorney General. Administrative Law Judges, Johnette Sullivan. Adam
Judge
Torum.
Judge Torum, I'm on the line.
Okay, thank you. For council staff, Amy Kidder.
This is Amy Kidder, present.
Amy Moon.
Good afternoon. This is Amy Moon. I'm present.
Kyle Overton.
Kyle Overton, present.
Patty Betts.
Patty Beth, present.
Stu Henderson. Stephen Posner.
Good afternoon. Stephen Posner, present.
For the operational updates, Kittitas Valley Wind Project.
Eric Melbart is present.
Wild Horse Wind Power Project.
Jennifer Galbraith, present.
Grace Harbor Energy Center. Chehalis Generation Facility.
This is Mark Miller, present.
Columbia Generating Station.
Mary Ramos, present.
Brad Barfus, present.
Council for the Environment.
Bill Sherman, present.
Thank you. And is our court reporter present?
This is Taylor Garlinghouse, present.
Okay, Chair, there is a quorum for the regular council and for the Goose Prairie and Horse Heaven project.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who is on the line that would like to introduce themselves at this point?
This is Rob, excuse me, this is Rob Dengel, Ecology, present.
Thank you.
And this is John
Drew.
Thompson with the Attorney General's office, just joining. Thank you.
And hi, Chair Drew. This is Blake Bjornson with One Energy, Goose Prairie Solar.
Tim McMahon with Stone Ridge Law Firm.
Owen Hurd with Tuso Energy, Columbia Solar.
Dave Kobus with Scout Clean Energy, Horse Heaven.
Thank you. We will move on to, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Kate Kelly, move to adopt.
Stacy Brewster, second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments or changes? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the agenda for today, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The agenda is adopted. Now we have before us, I believe, 3 sets of minutes. So we will go through them one at a time. The first before us is the informational meeting that was held on March 30th, 2021, the Scout Clean Energy Horse Heaven Hills Wind Project. The draft minutes have been sent to you. Is there a motion to approve the March 30, 2021 informational meeting minutes?
Rob Dangle, motion to approve the March 30, 2021 4-7 Wind Project informational meeting minutes.
Thank you. Second?
Kate Kelly, second.
Thank you. Are there any corrections or discussion about the minutes from the informational meeting? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the informational meeting minutes for Horseheaven Hills Wind Project March 30, 2021, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The meetings are approved. Moving on to the land use consistency hearing, Scout Clean Energy Horseheaven Hills Wind Project March 30, 2021 minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Ed Roast, I'll move to approve.
Thank you. That was
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Brose.
Reporter, I didn't hear that.
I believe that was Mr. Brose.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Motion to second.
Thank you, Mr. Dangle. Are there any corrections or changes to the minutes for the land use consistency hearing from March 30, 2021? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the land use consistency hearing, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving on to the monthly council meeting minutes from April 20th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve the April monthly council meeting minutes?
Rob Dangle, motion to approve April 20th monthly meeting minutes.
Thank you. Second?
Stacey Brewster, second.
Thank you. I do have one correction in the council minutes, and that is page 14, line 5. It says windlands, and it should be wetlands. Are there other corrections? Hearing none.
Chair Drew, if I could, just for a minute, this is Dave Kobus with Scout Clean Energy.
Yes.
Regarding the Horseheaven Wind Project, I would suggest that the title be changed to delete Hills, as Hills is not really part of the official name of the project.
Okay, and was that in the previous?
Yeah, that were the two previous documents. I just realized that you were saying Hills, and it's not part of the actual name of the project.
Is that, I'm sorry, I said it is that as it is written. I don't have it in front of me anymore. Let's see. Maybe you can help me out with this, Ms. Owens.
The land use minutes should be on the screen now. Can you see them?
Let me see. Oh, okay. Is it also the same as in the
It is.
meeting? Okay. May I have a motion to then go back and change the titles of the informational meeting and the land use consistency hearing meeting titles to eliminate the word hills in the title and throughout. I think it's probably just the title. If it appears throughout the document.
As long as it's just the title, this is Ed Brost, I'll motion to approve.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Kate Kelly, second.
Okay. All those in favor of deleting the word hills from the title on the informational meeting minutes and in the land use consistency hearing minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, let's take a step back. We were in the middle of the approval of the council meeting minutes. Apologize. I guess there was a motion on the floor before I went to make that change. The April monthly meeting minutes, with one change, as previously stated, on page 14, line 5, should be wetlands rather than windlands. With that amendment, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the April 20th, 2021 council meeting, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes are approved. Okay, thank you, everybody. That was a lot to review and to move forward on. So now moving to our project updates. Kittitas Valley Wind Project. Is Mr. Milbardis here?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chair Drew, EFSEC Council and staff. For the record, this is Eric Milbardis with EDP Renewables for the Kittitas Valley Wind Power Project. We had nothing non-routine to report for the period.
Thank you. Moving on to the Wild Horse Wind Power Project, Ms. Galbraith.
Yes, thank you, Chair Drew, council members and staff. This is Jennifer Galbraith with Puget Sound Energy representing the Wild Horse Wind Facility. And I have nothing non-routine to report for the month of April.
Thank you. Chehalis Generation Facility, Mr. Miller.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, EFSEC Council and staff. This is Mark Miller, the plant manager representing the Pacific Core Chehalis Generation Facility. I have one non-routine note in the submitted report for the month of April. The Chehalis plant conducted an annual relative accuracy test audit of the continuous emission monitors during the last week of April. The preliminary results were within compliance requirements, and a draft report is currently being reviewed by Pacific Core corporate environmental staff, and it will be submitted to EFSEC staff this month, the month of May.
Thank you. Grays Harbor Energy Center, Mr. Sharon.
Yeah,
Good afternoon.
Oh.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members and staff. This is Chris Sharon, plant manager from Grays Harbor Energy Center. Non-routine items for the month of April. I'll point out that we did begin our annual maintenance outage on April 15th, conducting major inspections on the gas turbine, the steam turbine, and also we're undergoing the implementation of the installation of the AGP on the gas turbines. Under environmental compliance, I need to make one correction on the first bullet. We need to remove the word emission. Because as I'll point out in non-routine items, Grays Harbor submitted a letter notifying EFSEC staff of an emissions event on April 8th. The event was a technical violation of their operating permit, but no environmental limits were exceeded. So we're currently working with the ORCA and EFSEC staff to determine what the next step in regard to the event is. Also, for non-routine items, I'll point out that we're in the process of updating our CO2 mitigation plan annual payments for the site certification amendment agreement. This is due to the installation of AGP. It necessitated a change to the annual payments that we make to the Climate Trust. And that plan has been submitted to EFSEC staff. That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I don't hear any. Thank you, Mr. Sharon. Moving on to the Columbia Generating Station and WNP 1 and 4, Ms. Ramos.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, EFSEC Council members and staff. This is Mary Ramos reporting for Energy Northwest. For the month of April, I have 2 items to report. The first one is Energy Northwest requested and received approval to operate on-road engines with a cumulative size greater than 2,000 horsepower on site. And the non-road engines are being utilized to support Columbia's R25 refueling and maintenance outage. The second item I have to report is the Amendment 1 for EFSEC Resolution 347 was issued on April 23. This resolution authorizes fish collection for the Columbia Generating Station Radiological Environmental Monitoring Program. That's all I have.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we will be moving on to the Desert Claim Wind Power Project. Ms. Moon.
Good afternoon, Council Chair Drew and Council members. For the record, this is Amy Moon providing an update on the Desert Claim Project. EFSEC staff continue to coordinate with Desert Claim. However, currently there are no other project updates.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the Columbia Solar Project, Mr. Overton.
Yes, this is Kyle Overton, the EFSEC site specialist overseeing the Columbia Solar Project. I have 2 items today for Columbia Solar. The first being that EFSEC staff, we continue to coordinate with the facility and our contractors on pre-construction plan review. This includes review and coordination on the initial site restoration plan, or the ISRP, as required by Washington Administrative Code, or WAC, 463-72040, and their site certification agreements. EFSEC staff are working with the certificate holder to finalize these ISRPs, and after which they will be presented to the council for their approval. Is there any questions on that part of things?
My question would be, you are working on that now. Do you expect that you will have it to the council before the June meeting so that council members can review it, and then we'll have an opportunity to discuss it at the June meeting?
That's our goal. We're like very close to getting a final product. There's just a few items to work out, so that's our current goal. Yes, to have it ready for the June 15th meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, go ahead.
All right, so my next item here, staff are also continuing to work with the certificate holder on issuing permits required prior to construction. I noticed of intent for each of the 3 facilities to be covered under general construction stormwater permits for the 3 sites were submitted by the certificate holder on April 28th. In accordance with WAC 463-76041, a 30-day public comment period is required prior to issuing these permits. The public comment period is scheduled to start on May 19th and will continue on conclude on June 18th. Notice has been distributed to our mailing lists and posted in the Daily Record paper in Ellensburg, Washington. Comments will be accepted in writing via email and via our online comment database, which can be found on the EFSEC website. Are there any questions for that?
Are there any questions from council members? I don't see anyone raising a question. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, Goose Prairie Solar Project, Mr. Overton.
Yep, yeah, this is Kyle Overton again with the EFSEC site specialist for Goose Prairie. 2 items here also. The staff continue to coordinate with the applicant and our contractors on review of their application materials. And a site visit was conducted on May 4th with representatives from One Energy, Department of Ecology, and WFW present. The purpose of the site visit was to conduct a wetland screening and to aid in the ongoing wildlife and habitat impacts review for the State Environmental Policy Act, or SEPA. That was just a general update on the current status of the project there. The next item, WAC 463-43050 requires that a SEPA determination is needed prior to making a decision regarding the applicant's request for expedited processing. WAC 463-43050 also requires a decision on expedited processing 120 days after receipt of a request, or such time later as is mutually agreed by the applicant and the council. EFSEC received the request for expedited processing on January 21st, making May 21st the 120-day mark. On May 14th, EFSEC received a request from One Energy with the support of EFSEC staff to extend the expedited processing determination deadline to allow for the completion of the SEPA review and issuance of a determination. One Energy is requesting the deadline be extended to the date of the July council meeting, and a copy of this request letter is included in the council packets. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions from council members?
I'm Chair Drew.
Yes.
This is Amy Moon. I had to step away real quick. So did I miss my Horse Heaven Wind project update?
No, we're still on Goose Prairie.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So there before you on the screen is the letter from One Energy requesting the extension. As I understand it, this doesn't require council action since this is agreed to both by the applicant and by our staff, but that is for your information that the 120 days, the consideration for expedited processing will be extended to the July 15th. Any questions from council members?
Chair Drew, if I could make a quick comment. This is Amy Kidder for the record. The language in WAC 463-43050 does say within 120 days of receipt of an application or such later time as is mutually agreed upon by the applicant and the council. As previously mentioned, staff does recommend agreement with this request, and previously the council has taken votes on this request, although it is not explicitly required to be voted on. But we would like to make sure that the council has no concerns with approving this.
Thank you, Ms. Kidder. Are there any concerns with approving this extension? Okay. Sounds like this is agreed upon by the council since we have no disagreements on that.
Thank you, Chair Drew.
Moving on to the Horse Heaven Wind project, Ms. Moon.
Okay, thank you, Chair Drew. Good afternoon, Council Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Amy Moon providing an update on the Horse Heaven Wind project. EFSEC issued a State Environmental Policy Act, otherwise known as SEPA, determination of significance and request for comments on scope of environmental impact statement, which is an EIS, for the Horse Heaven Wind project on May 11th. The notice stated that an EIS will be prepared and identified wildlife habitat, visual aesthetics, and land use as environmental elements that require a detailed analysis. In addition, the notice stated that additional information is required before determining the level of analysis in the EIS for air, water, and water includes wetlands, water quality, and water resources, plants, energy and natural resources, environmental health, noise, light and glare, historical resources, and cultural resources. The EIS will, at a minimum, include a no action alternative and the applicant's proposal. EFSEC will determine the full scope of the EIS, including the range of alternatives to be analyzed at the end of the scoping period after comments are reviewed. A public comment period for the scoping is open until June 10th, which allows for a 30-day comment period from the date of posting, which was May 11th. And on May 10th, EFSEC staff, an ecology wetland scientist, and the applicant met at the project site for a wetland site visit. We visited several locations that had been identified during a desktop published resource review as potential wetlands, and no wetlands were found. Does the council have any questions?
So again, the scoping notice has been sent to everyone on our list and is also on our website if people would like to take a look at that and how to respond. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are there questions from council members? Okay, I don't hear any. Thank you. We look forward to information following the scoping period. And at this point, that concludes our agenda. So this meeting is adjourned, and our next meeting will be, and of course, I did not put the date in front of me, so third Tuesday of June. We will talk to you all and expect additional information, particularly on the Columbia Solar Project at a minimum before that, if we can get that to you. Thank you. We are adjourned.